Who brought donuts? Thanks, Kim Kasher.
Yeah, the sprinkles are gluten-free.
Awesome.
Oh, perfect.
It looks very gluten-free. Why did you bring us donuts today?
Because I made us start a little bit later, so I thought I would bring a treat.
You're lovely.
And I don't know, we've talked about maybe playing poker. I thought this is a good start for a prop.
For sure. I like it.
Who's going to be the first one to grab a donut?
My money's
Well,
It'll be Mitchell Clinton.
gut check time.
The one that was really famous is the one who gets like the Easter one with icing
That is a
all
good
over
one.
it. Yeah.
Is it fair to eat donuts in front of the camera guys who are all working their butts off around us in anonymity?
I went to the gym this morning, so
What does that
I feel I've done.
camera guys.
No, I'm just saying I've done. My hard work for the day. They're in the middle of their grind right now, and then afterwards they will probably be able to benefit should there be any left.
I read a study recently that said camera guys don't have feelings.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah, for sure. So I think
what's your
okay.
go-to donut out of the box? What's your go-to donut? Like you pick the just regular with vanilla icing.
I like sprinkles.
Yeah. Okay.
Gluten-free option over there.
Oh, sorry.
What are we going to talk about? Well, everybody's milk is full.
Well, no. What is your go-to donut? You don't eat food, so you don't.
I don't do donuts.
Mine's a cruller.
There you go.
Not hit my mic when I do that.
Yeah, I like the cruller.
I'm a chocolate fan, so anything chocolate related will help me out. Hence the chocolate glaze I got going on here.
Well, this is scintillating.
Yes.
So very interestingly, I heard something this week on the radio. There was a group that 25 years ago, was a university group in the States. 25 years ago, they came up with a list of things that they think will have changed 25 years from then, which is now, by 2013. So they said, what's life going to be like? And they guessed a bunch of things. They guessed that there would be computers in all cars. There are. For the most part, if you get a new vehicle, you can have a computer in a car. Cars that would drive themselves. Well, if you push a button in some cars, they will park for you. I've never been in one of those, and that's a scary proposition as far as I'm concerned. But that there would be computers the size of business cards. Well, I've got one right here. It's called an iPhone, and that
business card. Anyways.
and that you would be able to make video phone calls, which you can, which I think was pretty good guesswork on their part because.
No kidding.
Really good guesswork.
That's to project 25 years in advance. I mean, when you have no idea, when you can't even necessarily conceive of these things.
It's time machine.
Yeah.
In 25 years?
No, they had one.
Oh, they had one.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're a little too dead on, right?
I just think it's surprisingly accurate given how before, the year 2000, everyone was talking about, oh, there's going to be flying cars, there's going to be flying cars. But these guys seem to have it figured out. So, I mean, I think it's crazy just how accurate they were given, all the rumors flying around and all the crazy thoughts that we would be flying in our vehicles at this point.
Well, to conceptualize, to come up with this, takes a pretty big brain, and it took Apple with the first real smartphone. I mean, BlackBerry came up with it was kind of a different device, but this was really the first handheld web browser that you could have. To come up with that when it took Apple a long time to come up with it and devise it, and there's pictures of what the prototypes of the first iPhone were like out on the internet if you Google it. I mean, they were nothing like this, right? And so for this university group to come up with that, I think is pretty amazing.
Well, there's a big history of people actually setting the scene for inventions with creative minds, right? Like Jules Verne came up with lots of interesting ideas that actually paved the way for eventual inventions.
For actual idea.
Or not necessarily always inventions, but failed attempts sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure, that's sort of how it starts, right?
That's really so. Then, where are we going to be 25 years from now? You set the scene for the next group of inventors.
Remote control socks. That's the one thing I'm waiting for. I can't be bothered. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm waiting for, and I've been disappointed up until now. But eventually, I'm gonna get up in the morning and I'm just gonna go beep beep beep. Let the socks go on themselves.
And what about your underwear?
No, that's sort of personal.
Well, you still have to
I don't
kind
trust
of
that to
bend
a
down
robot.
and do
I
the same
don't trust that to a
thing.
robot. No, but my feet. I mean, who cares, right?
Well, so really though, 25 years from now, other than your socks, where and this isn't meant necessarily to be technology driven, but I mean that's what's going to advance in many cases. Where are we going to be 25 years from now? I think and it isn't technology related, but I think the food choices that we will have will be very different than they are now, because people are finally starting to wake up to the idea of understanding how bad processed food is for us, and there are so many more options, healthy options. They're still very expensive. What?
Healthy option.
Healthy options.
Anyways,
This will be the last attempt.
Yeah.
right.
I know, this will be
next
not.
week will be all salads for everyone. Anyways,
Right, but so I think the food choices will be different. That's what I think.
I think we will be living on different planets.
Really?
Living on different planets.
Yes.
Bold.
You laugh, Miss Kim Casher. I've been in the time machine. I know. I've been on the time machine. I tell you, because the Earth, I mean, the way things are going, limited land space, and there is, I think, ongoing right now, I guess, studies and experiments on where else we could live. There are planets, there's evidence of other places.
They actually, this was in the news the other day. They say they can get us to Mars, but they can't get us back.
Yeah, I
So
saw
you
that
know,
too.
if you go to Mars, you are not coming back to Earth. But hey, you got to go to Mars.
Now, who's in charge of space? I heard this on the radio the other day. Someone in charge of sort of space tourism, who is offering you can buy an advanced spot on Mars.
There's already.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
Arnold
like buying a
Schwarzenegger's
lot in
eyes
Waverly
already.
West. You're
Yeah,
buying
yeah,
a spot on
exactly.
Mars.
Yeah.
A crater. Yes.
Thoughts?
I think we will be seeing cars that do drive themselves forward. Now, the only problem is, of course, us being in Manitoba, the conditions change throughout the year, so there might be, you know, a time and a place for using it. I think maybe it'll go something together with cruise control, just because that way the speed is monitored and whatnot. But that would be maybe my guess, that we will see cars that can drive themselves forward at a good speed. I mean, you use GPS and everything, so you know when that turns coming in the road or whatever.
You have to go in reverse.
That's what the old gear shift's for. But anyways.
I think it's not necessarily meant to just be like sitting in the back seat of your feet.
But I mean, I think the option, you know, maybe will be there in some form, even if it's only in like the preliminary elementary stages of forward propulsion, because we've got the parking
All right.
figured out.
KK?
I don't know. I mean, I really, I thought that we'd have robots, like, by now, you know?
There's
Those
robot
things that-
vacuums.
Those are not robots, you know? Like, I thought robots, like Jetsons robots, you know? You'd have
Robots shaped
people.
like people.
Yeah, and they'd clean your house for you, and
Yeah.
they'd cook for you. We're nowhere near that. So another 25 years, I don't know if it's going to get us any closer to that.
It's
but
called being a woman.
Oh, cool guy.
25 years, we're going to go away from that.
This is where you and I take big.
You know what I'm really interested in is like to see where science takes us in terms of like a lot of illnesses and especially mental health issues, because mental health has been around for a long time. A lot of the biggest inventors of the world, or the most brilliant minds, are people who suffered from mental illnesses, and so, but we haven't talked about it ever, and we're just starting to talk about it. So I'm curious, you have on one side people trying to drug those kinds of things, you have on the other side people saying, maybe we shouldn't be drugging this, like maybe their brain needs to kind of work that way because on the other side of their brain it's doing this other thing. And so I'm just really curious to see where we'll go in the area of mental health and understanding how the brain works and how it doesn't work. I mean, only a little part of our brain actually is functioning, right? There's all this other stuff going on. So.
All right. Well, I predict after the break we're going to talk about something awesome. I'm clever.
Nice.
So clever.